Hi all, today we discuss a problem and a theorem 3. So with that we can conclude section 2.5. In the last class we have discussed two theorems, theorem 1 and theorem 2. In theorem 1 and 2 we have seen that for two equivalent matrices we have the same row space and the row space, the non-zero rows of the row reduced matrix will give the basis for the row space of A. So if you we can discuss this problem right now. Determine the row rank of the matrix. In order to find the row rank of matrix, we will find a new matrix obtained from this A successively performing the row transformation of this A. That means if you have some B1, B2, etc., all this obtained by performing row operation on A and etc., finally we will get a matrix B, and we can say that by the previous theorem the row space of A and row space of B1 are the same, and row space of B2 and row space of B1 are the same, and we can extend it to the B. That means row space of A is same as the row space of B. So once you write this A or write an equivalent matrix B, that is obtained from A by performing row operations. Okay, so you can easily get a row reduced matrix B from this A by performing this row operations. So we know that the row operation doesn't change the row rank of A, so we can equate the row rank of A same as row rank of B1, that is same as row rank of B2, that is same as row rank of B3, etc., all the way up to this row reduced matrix. So we will try to find the row reduced matrix B from this A by performing row operations. I am not going to do all the row operation here, but I will write what is B obtained from this A by performing row operations, and B, if B takes the form of a row reduced matrix, then you can easily say that the row space of B is same as row space of A. Okay, so the row rank of B will be the same as row rank of A, because the dimension of row space will give the row rank of the matrix. So if this is in the row reduced matrix, then we can easily choose the non-zero rows of this matrix to get the dimension of this row space of B. So that will give the rank of B. Consequently, you can get the rank of A as well. This is the matrix, row reduced matrix obtained from this matrix A by performing row operations. So from this you can easily say that the rows 1, 3, 4 and 0, 1, 1 are the non-zero rows of this B, and B is the row reduced matrix, and we have shown that in theorem 1 this form a basis for B, row space of B, B, then that implies the rank of B is 2, because it has only it has two non-zero rows. That would imply that the row rank of A is also 2. Okay, so which shows that using this row reduced matrix you can get the rank of A. So this is one way of finding the row rank of A if A is some complicated matrix. So you can easily reduce to row reduced matrix by performing row operations, and that would enable us to find the rank of this matrix A easily. Now we prove theorem 3. This is the last theorem in this section 2.5. Let S be a set of K n tuples, and let A be the K by n matrix having as its rows the n tuples in S. Then we have this result: S is linearly independent if and only if row rank of A is K. Okay, so this is if and only. So we need to prove two implications. S is linearly independent, then we need to prove that row rank of A is K, that is the number of elements of S, and the vice versa. So we start with the one part. Assume assume S is linearly independent. Linearly independent. That means all the k n tuples are linearly independent. So we write the n tuples as we call this n tuples as v1, v2, etc. vk. We have k n tuples. Each vi belongs to this r or k r or c cn. Okay. So these are elements of it represent the n tuples. So if we have these n tuples, then you can easily make a matrix A with these rows. Okay. So v1 is the first row, v2, etc. vk. So we have, this is the matrix A. This is the matrix A. This is k by n matrix. We have k rows and each row has n components. Since it is n tuples, then this is a k by n matrix. Now our assumption is this v1, v2, vk are linearly independent, but we know that the dimension of row space, this is what we call rank. Rank A is equal to dimension of row space of A. Okay, what is the row space of A? That is the dimension of the span of v1, etc. vk. Of course, this v1, vk, v1, v2, vk spans the row space. Then dimensional span of v1, v2, vk is same as k because these are linearly independent. This already spans the row space, and if these are the linearly independent vectors, then this v1, v2, vk. So we write v1, v2. This implies set v1, v2, etc. vk form a basis for row space of A. Okay, row space of A. That means row rank of A is equal to k. So this proves the first part, and the other part we will prove by assuming the row rank of A is equal to k, and we will prove that those are linearly independent. Okay. For that we consider the hypothesis. We suppose that row rank of A is equal to A is k. Okay. Now what is the meaning of this? This is the dimension of row space of A, that is equal to k. So how will you find the dimension of row space? The row space is the span of the rows of A. Okay? So this is the dimension of the span of v1, etc. vk. That is given to be k. So if these are not linearly independent, then we need to prove that this is linearly independent. Then only our assumption is to prove these vectors are linearly independent. If not, if these v1, etc. vk are not linearly independent, that means they are dependent. In that case, we can choose one of these vi. One of them can be expressed as a linear combination of the others. So we write this vi as c1 v1 plus etc. ci, this is v1, ci minus 1 vi minus 1 plus etc. c k vk. Okay, so this vi, one of the vectors, one of these vectors v1, v2, vk can be expressed as the linear combination of others. Means vi, say that is the particular vector, vi can be expressed as the linear combination of others. So what is the implication of this? Therefore we can write the span of v1, etc. vk is same as span of v1, etc. vi minus 1 vi I plus 1 etc. vk. That means if you remove that vi from this span, you can get the same span. Okay, so we know that this is this span of this is what we called row space. Okay, row space of A. Then in that sense we can say that the span of this is same as span of this. Then this any spanning set contains the any spanning set contains the basis of that vector space. Okay, now we can say that from this, if we have all these are linearly independent, then the row rank will be k minus 1 because it contains only k minus 1. If this is linearly independent, then you can say that row rank reduced by 1. Okay, if the otherwise if this is not linearly independent, then you can reduce this spanning set. If one of them is again a linear combination of the others, then you can remove that element, that vector from this set, and to get another spanning set for the same row space of A. That will cause the reduction of the dimension by 2. Okay, if you continue this procedure, you can get a set of Vn1 etc. some Vnr. This is the span of this is same as the span of V1, V2, etc. Vk, that is equal to the row space. Okay, so this implies since this is less in number than this V1, V2, Vk, this reduces or this contradicts the fact that row rank of A is less than k. So this is a contradiction. That means if you reduce such spanning set, we know that every spanning set should contain a basis for the corresponding vector space. So that will be a contradiction for the fact that row rank of A is k. Okay, so we can never assume these vectors V1, V2, etc. Vr are not linearly independent. So this shows that these vectors V1, V2, etc. Vr, therefore V1, etc. Vk, V1, V2, etc. Vk are linearly independent. Okay, this proves theorem 3. That means this is the other implication. First we have proved that S is linearly independent, the vectors V1, V2, etc. Vk are linearly independent, then this rank is k, and conversely we have assumed rank of A is k, then we can get this V1, V2, Vk are linearly independent. Okay, so with this theorem we can conclude chapter section 2.5. This is the last session of module 1. The next class onwards we will discuss module 2. That in that module, or that module deals with the linear transformations. That means in that module we will discuss the functions from a vector space to other, and with some properties. So that would enable us to study two vector spaces using the simplest form. Okay, so that we will discuss in the next class. Thank you.